This week on Another Brother.
I wish I had a group of like-minded, childlike adult friends.
And lots of free time.
All you listeners, be looking out for the Another Brother podcast sponsored flashlight.
That sounded like a grip load of silly string.
Grip load.
Grip load.
Another brother.
Yeah.
All
All right. Season 2, episode 3.
Another brother. I have a headache.
Yeah, I'm just low energy for some reason.
I didn't get in
Tired.
bed until midnight 05 this morning. I'm pretty tired too.
Nice.
But I'm maxed out on caffeine, hence why I'm drinking water instead of knockoff colas.
Yeah, I can't do caffeine after like 3 would be a bad idea. It mixes with this medication in a way that is much greater than the sum of its parts.
Take the laughter back.
I think laughter's fine.
That was just because you're old.
No, when we were first doing the podcast, before I got medication,
Yeah.
I would have them
Yeah.
while we were podcasting.
I was
but
confused.
I can't do that anymore.
Yeah, I need caffeine just to get through the workday. Wake me up in the morning and then get me through the workday. It's those office doldrums.
Which is not what we're talking about.
We're talking about how we get rid of... No, because that's caffeine.
We're talking about the opposite of office doldrums. Springtime, outdoor
fun
activities. Yay.
Outdoor springtime fun time. Yay! Speaking of...
Sound effects there, like sparkling.
Like Red's Tokyo. What? You know, Renly.
Yeah.
Anytime someone says Tokyo. He has to...
What? No. I haven't listened to those guys in a long time, especially
That is
when
one
they
of their
got
longest
weird.
running jokes, I think.
Yeah, nope. I missed out on that one.
It's not really important. Anywho.
No.
Nice weather.
Very nice
Great
weather. I wish I was a kid again. Or not really. I wish I had a group of like-minded, childlike adult friends.
And lots of free time.
With the free time,
Yeah.
with whom I could spend playing the sorts of games that we played as adults. Because I would still get a kick out of that.
Oh, yeah.
I think you mean the games we played as kids.
What did I say?
The games we play as adults. You just really want to be playing those games.
I live for the games. Yeah. So when I was thinking about it, the one, I don't think we've brought it up yet. Have we
Okay.
brought up sardines?
Yeah. Yeah, we've talked
Oh, we
about
did?
night games before, and
Fun fact, it was season 3, or excuse me, it was episode 3 of season 1 that we also talked about night games.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
we've got so many episodes you can't keep them straight anymore.
Oh, I'm just going for the threes because it was 1, 3, now 2,
This
3.
is episode 3.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yay. So we talked about night games before, but the conversation was more like, wasn't that fun? Remember when we did this? Then you would do that. But we're going to talk about the rules, how to actually play these games
Yeah.
so that people can play the games.
For all of you younger listeners and those of you older listeners who have like-minded, childlike friends, who also have lots of free time, this is for you.
And we should discuss the rules because the names of games, I feel like across the country, everyone has night games.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but it's like a similar game, but or you have like a game called the same thing, but it's very
Right.
different.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So
Like Commando. That means something very different to a lot of
It
people.
is not called that by most other people.
is there a name for it?
Yeah.
Have you heard another name for it?
Yeah.
I don't remember what Heather calls it.
I did a little
Fugitive.
research I've seen Fugitive, and I've seen Cops and Fugitives.
Okay.
But Fugitive is just
Very
better.
descriptive.
We just called
Yeah.
it Commando because we're more militant.
Yeah.
in Oregon.
Because we played way more hardcore. We were crawling through bushes.
In people's backyards.
Which we probably should have set a rule. Speaking of rules,
that was not great behavior.
but I feel like we were safe at the time.
Yeah, speaking of rules.
Yeah. So for everyone, if you're going to play it nowadays, to add safety to your gameplay, you should probably set a rule that you cannot enter someone's property without
Follow
prior.
all actual laws and rules of the game.
So with our version of Commando, if you've heard Fugitive and Cops,
Cops and Fugitives.
Cops and Fugitives is what you played. Basically, we're talking about the game where everyone starts at one location. You have to traverse a large area to get to another location
By foot.
without being spotted by the team of spotters.
Mm-hmm.
In a car.
So that's the game. We
In
call
a
it
car.
Commando. What rules did we have?
So I think that first question brings up a good point. Games are meant to be fun, right?
Yes.
So the rules have to support the fun, but different people's ideas of what's fun may necessitate a slightly different set of rules. We thought we were super cool being really hardcore.
Yeah.
So you had to say the name
Yes.
of the person that you thought you had spotted. And if you just start listing off names, you did not actually spot the person. That person gets to sit there in the dark until you move on.
Which is kind of not fair when like a pair of the girls that would play with us were twins. Identical twins. Like, I got the wrong one. But that was designed right so you couldn't just see someone's heel or the bottom of someone's shoe for like a split second and then just start throwing out names.
Because I think the real point was you could just say, I saw you. And when you didn't maybe even see anything, you don't really, as the fugitive, you don't know that they actually saw you.
Yeah.
It's true, but at the same time, that probably didn't happen that often.
Probably not.
In reality, I'm sure most of the time when someone shouted that they spotted someone, they did spot someone.
Right.
And if we were to go back to Cops and Fugitive, the cops aren't calling out, inmate 23467. You know, you spot them, you spotted them, and they're caught.
Well, you shoot them probably.
If they're fugitives at that point,
Your
guns are out.
If you're Tchaikovsky or Grandpa up in the tower, you probably just shoot them.
But regardless, that's the rule that we did play with. You had to call them out by name.
Hardcore mode.
Yep.
Yeah. And perhaps the only other solid rule was you had to go by foot.
I think, because I think this was the most hardcore game that we played. We played it loose and fast.
Kind of slow sometimes, though.
If you're smart.
Yeah, I don't know. I was in the car once, and it was deathly boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I ever did start out as a spotter in the car.
It's hard knowing where to drive when, like, how far should these people be along?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where should I be driving?
At least once
What
I
route
made
are
it
they
in a
taking?
straight shot without hiding a single time. It was during cross country season. So like I was at the prime time to do it, but I just booked it from A to B.
But then you're like sitting at the end, which was usually around Gupser Elementary School. In the back field, I think, is where we normally went. Maybe not normally, but multiple times we'd end at the far end of Gupser's field.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then you get there and then you're just like, well,
No,
Wait.
it's a pride thing.
Why would
I don't
you?
care.
Why would you play to a place where cars can't go?
yeah, good point.
I know.
I
it's
didn't
probably
play
just
that
out
much.
front.
This game became much bigger like after my time because I'm so old. But when I remember playing, we would play like to the church parking lot.
Oh.
So like a car could follow someone all the way to the end goal.
I always remember ending in parks, like Claggett Creek Park, Gupser, maybe even Whitaker.
I remember having to go through Claggett Creek Park once.
Yes. That I remember.
And
I mean, you can go anywhere. You can go to Chamawa.
Claggett Creek was such a long park. Like, you see headlights come up in the parking lot on the other side. You're like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
lay down.
We talked about this last time.
Oh, we did. Okay.
It's amazing. Like, you just drop and the lights would just like go over top of you, and you're just still
Like the Great
hoping
Escape.
No one saw you.
I mean, it's not because as a cop, I think we played you. I don't know that if this was a hard and fast rule, if it was just like what was in everybody's head, but I don't think you got out of the car as a cop. You had to be in the car.
Right.
Yeah.
So you
Yes.
see someone,
But they could have flashlights.
sure.
Yeah.
But you see someone 50 yards away that you can't identify and they hit the dirt. They're just going to lay there until you move on. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing you can do. You don't know who they are. You can't say the name.
But
It's
then,
over.
But then, like, right. And then your strategy is, well, I know there's a person there. So do I just try to wait them out? Or do I go where I don't know where people are and hope I find other people?
Mm.
So maybe we could have designed that. Maybe we could have had it so the cops could, like, dismount. You can send, like, one runner. That might be a good change.
Because there was usually 2 people in a car, right?
I
At
think
least.
Yeah, at least.
if you have a runner get out at that point, they have to tag the person
Oh,
physically, or else there's no point in even hiding.
True.
Right? You hide, and they're just going to send someone out, and you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Because you either wait for them to find you, or you
That's
get out of your hiding
great
place and
variation.
you run away. And
That makes for a pretty dynamic game. Because at that
Yeah.
point, everybody gets up and runs backwards. They have to run away from, like, the way I was thinking of it anyway. I was picturing the headlights on the
Are coming
side that's
from the
closer
end.
to the
Oh,
church.
yes. Yeah, okay.
So
So you're getting further from
so
your
you'd have to run
destination.
further away from your destination.
In
yeah.
that case, yeah.
And that would be kind of a bummer.
And the people in the car this whole time have been resting. Their legs aren't tired. Meanwhile, you've been slowly trotting or running your way. They might have more juice to run you down.
And then also, when does the person that is the runner decide to cut their losses, head back to the
Yeah.
car, and drive on?
Oh, I love this. This
Yeah.
is
I would
great.
say
Game
if
design.
And I think if the equipment exists, I think if you could do it on like a quad instead of a car,
Quad
even,
bike?
would be even better because
really
I was
quick
in the
on and
car.
off.
Yeah. And just like, you're in the open, so you're like more part of the night.
It feels very Halo
Yes.
now.
Yeah.
That's
Like
what
there's
made me
someone
think
on the
of
back just ready to
Warthogs.
jump off.
Because
Because you probably shouldn't drive your ATV through Claggett Creek Park.
Yeah, definitely not.
Well, why not?
That's not legal. That's not.
That's not legal.
You can't.
No.
No.
Man, is that just because it's a park or because of Oregon?
I think it's probably not kosher to drive your ATV through any park.
Lame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Motor vehicles not allowed in the
Yeah.
playing fields.
Well, that kind of kills that part of why I thought that was a good idea.
I guess, but like if you had like a little spotlight on your handlebars that
Yeah.
turns with the handlebars,
Yeah.
you can like really spot everybody.
Yeah.
Or man, even Josh's old Jeep. Soft top, put the top down. Like you said, it's open
that's a
air.
You can
story
You're
even
out in
tell
the
sometime.
experience.
That Christmas
You can even lay the
drive.
windshield down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that would have been sweet.
Pop the doors off.
Uh huh.
Yeah, see,
Dang it.
I'd be way more willing to be in the car if you could get out as a chaser.
Go engage.
Yeah,
This is starting to
for
remind
sure.
me of what I saw on the news with like there are Detroit gang wars going on that are all, for some reason, they've all agreed to just use paintball guns now.
Oh, I've seen
What?
those videos. Yeah.
Wait,
For real skis.
I didn't hear that part. I've seen a video of them
Yeah.
shooting each other up
Right.
with paintballs.
I mean, I guess that, but like the interview that I heard was like, yeah, it's kind of a bummer to be killing everybody all the time. So just shoot them with paintballs.
I'm not
I
gonna
don't-
I'm not
I
gonna
don't
argue
get it.
this, but I don't understand.
But they're rolling through
Well,
the city
point
in their
anymore.
SUVs, hanging out with their paintball
Doing
guns,
drive-bys
shooting
with paintball
everybody.
guns.
Yeah.
really nice, like gold, like bedazzled
They are
paintball
really
guns.
nice paintball guns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, I've never understood the violence
I don't know.
anyway. So,
Anyway.
yeah.
Was
Great.
that a game that either of you wanted to talk about tonight? Like I picked a game that I was going to talk about.
When I think night game, that's my
Of course,
go-to.
that's a pretty quintessential
Yeah.
game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you got next?
Well, I actually came up with a new one.
What?
Yeah. I felt like there were a lot of night games that I just didn't remember anymore, maybe. So I just tried Googling night games to see if I could like jog my memory. And I found a night game that as soon as I like saw the title, I maybe read one sentence of what the description was, and I was like, what if it was like this? And that was it. I came up with this new game, and I really like it, but I can save it for last, or I can tell it now. Whatever.
Go ahead.
Okay, I don't know what to call it. No idea what to call it.
Bad start.
I know.
No, we'll get
Call
there.
it Commando.
And since I've never actually played it, I'm not sure how to balance sides. But this is another game that is about people running and hiding and someone with a flashlight spotting. Or maybe multiple people, depending on the size of the group. Because, you know, the bigger the group, you start to send out like 2 cars instead of 1 to spot people. But in this game, I think maybe 1 person on a flashlight and for every 4 without might be a good balance to try. But you have like a tree that's central to your play area, or a flagpole or a light post or something like that. Basketball hoop, something like that. Yeah. And the person with the flashlight goes to that spot, closes their eyes, counts to a certain number that everybody is agreed upon ahead of time, and everybody else runs and hides. The point of the game for people without the flashlight is to get back to that pole, tree, whatever it is. The point of the game for the person with the flashlight is to shine the flashlight on someone. But unlike the traditional game, which is flashlight tag, where if you get spotted with the flashlight, you're just plain out.
Yeah.
You have to freeze when you're in the flashlight. And the person with the flashlight has to go tag you. At that point, you're out.
But everyone else can keep moving.
Everyone else can keep moving as long as they're not in the light. So they start to hear someone else running, and they turn the flashlight on them. Maybe they get more than one person in the flashlight, and that one person runs. So the game is best played with a flashlight that doesn't have a particularly tight focus. Maybe not best played, but is most advantageous for the person with the flashlight.
Right.
If it doesn't have a
Wide
tight
angle.
focus.
So you're
But
out. Okay.
I think in order to make the game work, everybody needs to take a turn with the flashlight. And by the end of the time everybody's had the flashlight, the number of points you have dictates the winner, meaning the number of people you tagged out. Whoever lets the least number of people back to the tree or pole or whatever,
Yeah.
by the end of everybody having a turn with the flashlight is the winner. Because otherwise there's no real impetus to take the flashlight off of the person you found if you hear someone else running, right? But you don't want anybody touching that pole. You want every single point you can get. So you're highly motivated to keep that flashlight moving when you feel a need to.
And then if you're not the flashlight holder, you want to get to that center point to deny them a point.
Deny them the point.
You're not
Exactly.
earning a point yourself, but you're denying them.
It's not about, I
Leveling
don't
the
want to
field
have
for
to be the
yourself.
it person because everybody's going to take a turn. You just want to deny them the point because you want to win with the most points by the
I
end.
like it.
Very good.
That
think-
is interesting.
I think that could be called King of the Hill or something.
King
Because
of
you're
the
Hill.
flashlight.
King of the flashlight king.
No, we need like
Candle on the hill. Just kidding.
Street lights. People.
streetlights people. That's what it's called.
I like that idea.
I'll come up with a better name.
I think that's a good game. I
I
thought
think it's pretty good
so
game
do I.
design.
I thought you were about to basically say the Utah Commando game,
Which is
which is the one where you have a center point, person's there with a flashlight, and everyone has to get from, you have to everyone starts at the center, and then the person with the light says a number, like 20 or 30, and then says a speed, slow, medium, or fast. And the speed tells everyone how quickly they're going to be counting. The number tells them what number they're going to be counting down from. And that gives them time. They understand how to traverse the course. So the other part is there's a course identified, like 5, 6, depending on how large your group is, points that you have to get to in order.
this is a very complicated game.
It's not.
We played it in my backyard once.
Oh,
Yeah, ideally,
I can't remember if you were.
on that backyard campout?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, you
Kids
were playing.
loved it.
I think I was
thought you
there.
were.
I think I was hanging out with Larissa and Momo because Momo was freaking out in the backyard
yeah.
camping.
It is a great game. And if you have larger space with lots of trees, like in the forest, it's perfect.
That playground out there, the really cool play structure, I think it's a park that's out in that direction.
Snow?
It wasn't. Last time we went was like last summer. And it's got the big spider net
Pioneer Park.
thing.
Yeah,
That seems
okay.
like it could be a fun course for this, maybe. I don't know.
You kind of need...
Do you need to be able to hide
You need
in
cover.
the middle of the course?
Yeah, you need to be able to conceal where you are.
Well, then Devil's Lake Park
Oh,
Yes.
would be the park.
That's probably too concealed.
Too concealed?
There's so much wood there that you can just hide behind walls and stuff.
Mm.
So, but we've done that too. I've done this with the kids at the Castle Park.
There's a castle park?
I think it's called Castle Park even.
Oh.
It's got like a Nessie in the bark chips.
Never seen it?
Yeah, I don't think you've come
Um,
up there when we have.
so I've done it with the kids there. And it's actually pretty cool because they have to learn how to hide because it's just a typical gymnasium.
Right.
They have to learn what my line of sight is and hide.
So there's some
Perspective to
good
that.
spatial reasoning going on.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they have to obscure themselves from my perspective. So they
Right.
won't necessarily be directly behind an object. They might be 4 feet away behind the object, but because of that, they're smaller in profile.
Right.
And yeah, so that was pretty fun. But yeah, so then the kids, you go around to each of these bases in order.
Right.
And then once you get to the last one, then you have to tag in to the middle.
That
to
does
win.
kind of make sense as a game called Commando.
Yeah.
It's like a boot camp obstacle course kind of a...
Oh, don't get me. That's a story for another time, I guess. The boot camp obstacle course. But yeah, anyway, I like yours. We need to copyright this, trademark it.
And sell flashlights.
So first we need to
Start
name
selling
it. Another brother flashlights.
It'd be branded by the game name.
Oh, right.
But it could be like superscript.
Brought to you by another brother. Screw you, Hasbro.
Yeah, cool. I like that one.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. Just trying to think of where we could play it.
Yeah, because you need some places to hide
Yeah.
along the route
And
as you're running to
enough
a little bit.
space that the flashlight goer has time to
Oh, right.
go
you're right.
tag without it being such a constricted field that as soon as you leave for one person, everyone else can make it back.
Right.
It might be
that
best to
quickly.
have like a periphery around the center place for hiding instead of like just a bunch of spots along the way spread all throughout evenly. Because then
like
the chaos really ensues.
So have some like no man's land in the center.
Right.
That's just completely
Yeah.
void.
Right. Or else when is the chaos ever going to happen?
Yeah. But now I also understand why you're saying you need like maybe one flashlight holder per 4 people or something.
Yeah.
Because then you can communicate.
But I would think if you have multiple flashlight holders,
shoot, how
you'd
do you
have
do
to have some
score?
kind of shot clock where you can't just camp at the landmark, right? Because then you can just have the one flashlight person going out tagging everybody while the other guy is camping,
Yeah.
cherry picking
right.
basically, and
You're
just
right. I think
Okay.
it's just the one flashlight, no
I think
matter how
so.
big the group.
with
Or-
your scoring system that works.
Yeah, law of averages, it should be fine because you're competing against other people's scores, not
Yeah.
something else.
And you could like swing as you're approaching the person who's frozen and you're going to tag. You can pivot
Swing
around
around
them
them.
so you're pointing. It's gonna that alone will take some time, but
You'll
you
have
could
to
at
get
that
close to
point be
them.
pointing at the landmark. So while you're tagging this person, you do have you're protecting your place as well
So
potentially.
how do you end a round once everyone is either tagged or in?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Because then my other thought was, what if you have just a radius around the center that the flashlight person can't enter? So they have a certain amount of standoff. So
So
you're
they
not.
do
Yeah.
the countdown at the thing, and then they have to immediately leave that central area, and then can't go back into whatever that
Within
radius is.
10 feet or 20 feet.
I think that makes sense, but still with 2 people.
Yeah.
But then you're free as soon as you enter the circle. So the pole isn't really important.
That's
Well, maybe
'Cause you
unless you're
can't get
chasing
tagged.
somebody, though. Unless you're chasing somebody.
That
'Cause
gets
then you're not-
complicated with fairness.
Yeah. But also, I like the idea of multiple because it creates 2 teams, right? So you have multiple flashlight holders that communicate and strategize, and then you have double or quadruple the amount of people running in who are also going to strategize because none of them want you to get points either. And so you're creating these strategies to like draw attention away. And I don't know. I think creating the teams
We got to try
will
it.
make that really fun.
We got to workshop
That would need some game design thinking, because I see a lot of potential for abuse, like Jacob was saying, as soon as you have more than one flashlight.
All right, we'll do it.
We'll have to brainstorm that.
Problem is we've got so much difference in speeds. We're not all fairly equal these days.
Yeah. Okay, what else? What other games do you guys think about?
This is another running and hiding game.
Those are the best at night.
Yeah. So this is one that I played with my friends. I don't think you guys ever played it. We called it Raptor. Zombie probably would have been a much more fitting name. In fact, not probably, it is. It's kind of like hide and go seek. You have one person who's it. Everybody else goes and hides.
Yeah.
We would always play this in the church building. We never played this outside. We always played it inside with all of the lights off. A person counts for 50, 100 seconds, whatever you agree upon. Mm-hmm. And then they go out and they start seeking. The raptor has to have at least one sleeve rolled up so that they are identifiable as the raptor. Mm. Because from there, as soon as they spot people, this isn't just hide and go seek where if you're spotted, you're out. You have to physically, it's tag. You have to go and tag them. But you can hop out of your hiding place and just book it and run.
Sure.
So they have to chase you down.
So there's a home base of sorts that you're trying to get to?
Nope. You're playing until last man standing, because as soon as you're tagged, you are now a raptor as well. And so you now roll your sleeve up. So people don't have to know who the raptor, right?
Yeah, the original, the OG.
Yeah, you'll obviously know who the original is, but then you don't have to be aware of what else has been going on to know who's been tagged. You can see from the sleeve.
It's reverse sardines.
Yeah, kind of. And so, you play until there's one person left who has not become a raptor. And that's when the game ends. It was just...
Yeah, I think I did play this. This was your group's thing.
This is what
I played
we
it
played.
Once or twice in the church.
It was a blast because, first of all, with the size of our church building, with the amount of rooms, you could get into some pretty tricky hiding spots. So, there's, a game or two where I sat and never moved once. That was rarely the case. You're almost always found at some point. But I feel like there's at least one game where I won from never even moving.
No flashlight?
Because I hid well enough. No flashlights.
All the lights off.
All lights off. So, as the raptor, you're like...
Was the gym off limits?
No, that was on limits.
It's pitch black in there. You can't see anybody.
Yeah.
That made it...
I would be hiding in there.
It was just so much fun. Yeah. So as the raptor, you're thoroughly searching. You're not just moving quickly through rooms. You're opening, looking behind every door, every piano. You're moving all the folded seats, because sometimes we would, you have a row of folded seats leaning against the wall. You'd go to one of the stacks and take out the back three, move them somewhere else, and then squeeze back in there.
Just pull it back against you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff we would, kind of hiding places we would do. I mean, that's it as far as rules. That was it. Hide anywhere you want. They see you. You run. If you're tagged, you're a raptor now too.
We played a lot in the church.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we played Blackout,
dodgeball,
laser tag.
Oh yeah,
in the gym.
With tables flipped over and stuff.
Yeah, and you can't see them, so if you go running, not a good idea.
Yeah, shin right into the table.
Yeah, the chapel was only off limits.
That makes sense.
Room,
sure.
The way we played. So the overflow,
right
behind it,
the
which
hallway.
Is it's basically just
that's a tight corridor though.
Narrow hallway. That was always a risky place.
Yeah.
Especially if you knew there were multiple raptors. If it was just one raptor and they were on you, it's not that big of a risk.
Unless you opened it up to the gym.
No,
we always left. Yeah, we left the doors shut. So it's just you would get into trouble if you hadn't been in there yet, and you're booking it, and you open that door, and all the chairs are set up,
and there's no lights, and you're like, oh god, no.
Yeah.
I would have opened the accordion door into the gym and just left it like 3 feet open just to complicate the map a little bit more.
That would, because as it stands, that was the only avenue to the other side of the building from that
Right.
end
From that
of
end.
the church.
Right.
Yeah. Well, now we're talking. We might have had like one of the hall lights on, and then like all of the gym doors.
Well, now that I'm
propped
thinking about
open,
it,
so some light would get into
that's what
the
you just said.
gym.
Now that I am also thinking about it, there were security lights. All of the lights couldn't go off in the whole hallway section of the building.
Yeah.
There were some lights that had to be on.
Yeah, like the exit
right.
signs and stuff.
But also
Yeah.
just some of the ceiling panel lights did not shut off with the switch. They were security lights.
Were they?
Oh.
Yeah.
Don't.
But not in the gym. The gym could
Right.
be pitch
Yeah.
black.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of then. Yeah.
But I think every classroom, every room could be pitch black,
Mm-hmm.
but not the halls.
Well, you have all the exterior windows.
Right.
Not every room had an exterior window,
True.
but
Oh, sneaking out a window.
No, you had to stay inside.
yeah, you can leave. Another rule: stay in the building, or else I would just get up on the roof and just chill. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Not that there's rules involved, but do you guys remember Alex's laser tag bomb, grenade
Of
bomb?
course I remember
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Chucking that down the hallway.
Getting hit with that was not nice.
That thing is sweet.
Yeah, that was fun. Something that we were never able to reproduce in paintball.
Nope, they've got them, but
Yeah, they do.
we need to collab with Dude Perfect and just get
Sure. Yeah. We need to collab with multimillionaires.
yeah. It happens.
That would be fun.
Oh, do you remember the capture the flag things that Dad bought?
For the laser tag set. Yeah. Is that what you mean?
Oh, for laser tag.
Yeah, they were part of the laser tag set.
Were they?
There was a blue one and an orange one.
Yes, and they had bases that you'd sit on. And that
Yeah.
would, yeah.
Maybe they weren't for it, but me and my friends used it with the
Played
laser
together.
tag.
I don't remember this.
Oh man, that's what we would take to Rylea.
They had a handle that would like wrap around your fist,
Mhm.
kind of, and they were
It was like
neon
ergonomic.
orange and a blue that was sort of
It had a speaker.
yeah.
It had lights. It had a
Yes.
speaker. So as soon as you take it, like it's making noise.
Why don't I remember this? That sounds awesome.
Oh man, yeah,
Yes, it was
they
good.
were. They were so cool.
And we'd integrate it with laser tag.
I mean, I remember doing that with my friends.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
Definitely did
does
that in
sound
Russell's
familiar.
backyard.
I remember.
Backyard?
Front and back.
Okay.
I remember Alex's fancy laser tag set with the stealth or the shield. What was it? Invisibility or stealth?
How could I have invisibility? Like shots, I was just invulnerable? Or?
Yeah.
You like push a button and then you couldn't be hit. It's like a superstar.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, and then it would run out after a little bit and then recharge again.
I remember having a giant bazooka type. I mean, it wasn't a bazooka. I think it was technically a sniper rifle.
Yes.
But the way they styled it was much more like, I'm the heavy gunner.
Yeah.
And it had a giant weight that it would move around inside for the recoil and a little like red dot scope.
Oh, yeah, I remember this now.
Yeah.
It's black and purple, right?
Black and silver, I
Silver.
think.
We didn't do any rules for that, for laser tag in the church. It was just two teams, start at opposite directions, and then just
Get each
laser
other.
tag is the rule.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because the packs that we had at that point in time, just we could all set them to the same mode, and it was like three strikes and you're out.
Yeah.
And you couldn't. I don't even think you could fire. No, because the guns weren't tied to the packs in some intelligent wireless way. That wouldn't have
no.
worked at that point.
Yeah.
Not cheaply, anyway.
We went through a couple different sets, though.
Did we?
Remember the
two.
gray ones first?
Yeah.
They were
Gray one.
the chest pack was like geometric,
Oh, yeah, right, and
angular.
really chunky.
Yeah. And then the guns were like these gray, ugly, generic looking.
They were not
alien
gray.
assault rifles.
They
They were
were
black.
No.
No, that's the next
Yours
set.
were.
Yeah.
Your
No,
smooth,
no.
sleek ones.
Then I might be thinking of a set even earlier than you guys. Because the first laser tag set I can remember, the guns looked like sleek Star Trek rifles. I mean, somewhere between a Star Trek rifle and a Star Trek phaser.
I don't even know.
And they were
I don't know
black,
what that looks
shiny
like.
plastic, and they had red lights that went along the side up to the barrel. And But the pack was this weird pentagonal or hexagonal gray thing with like a black dome on it. And you would have to like strap it to a hat. You could strap it to a hat, wear it on your head, or you could strap it to your chest. And Dad would play that in the house in the dark. And it had a little scope. The guns had a tiny little scope with a tiny little red dot.
I don't remember those.
They were
I'm
really
say
old.
this was before.
So I can't remember any gray
Because the gray
ones.
packs, they had a little, I think it was not to sound stupid, light receptor, I'm just going to call it.
Sure.
There's a little red circle with ridges on it, and you could unscrew it and screw it tighter, and that would affect how much light got in. So if you wanted to play outdoors with it, you'd have to screw that out further.
The sun might actually set it off.
Yeah.
But I don't remember that.
I do. Yeah.
What did the guns look like?
Great. Kind of like the Super Scope 6, but shorter and kind of Fisher Price. Think
a generic
think
gray.
what Fisher Price would do to make a laser tag gun. That's what these looked like.
And this was before the
Your nice
packs
black
with the
ones.
chest and back sensor
Yeah.
and the little pew pew phasers.
Uh-huh.
Oh man, we got one of Danny's neighbors called the cops on us playing that laser tag in his front yard because they saw guns.
Give me a break.
Like, how could you not
ridiculous.
tell that it was laser tag, you dummies?
In their defense, that's a bad transition, but the Army also has laser tag. It's called Miles Gear. It's an acronym. Don't ask me what it stands for, but the L in Miles is probably laser. And you like strap these chunky lasers to the front, like to the barrel of your M16, your M4.
Uh-huh.
And then you have sensors on your helmet and all on your front, back, chest. And
You're using a real guns.
your real gun,
Obviously, no ammunition.
right? You have
But then that laser's wired up to your trigger.
well, not to your trigger. It's how is that integrated? I have to look again.
Was there like a windy telephone cable type thing with a button that you put next to where your trigger was?
Probably there was it never worked completely well. And we also do a thing where we put what's called a blank firing adapter, a BFA, on the end of your rifle.
Yeah.
And it like inserts into the end of the barrel.
Right.
And then it's a big bright red thing that you just like clamp on. So everyone can tell you have a blank firing adapter in, and then you use rounds, but they're blanks, but they still discharge and eject.
Oh.
And so you're like, it's recoiling and then you're shooting. And I can't remember if
You
we
use these along with.
That's what I can't remember. I don't think we did.
I mean, that would
That
give you
seems
the most
way
real
too risk.
experience.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But the cool thing about that system was you had a server that could track your points. It's like a
wow.
legitimate, like a professionalized laser tag game.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it never worked. And I'd be interested to see how much the Army has paid for this.
Yeah.
They still use it and it doesn't work. But
Just gotta go back to those paint rounds.
oh, we still use those, the ultimate training munitions. Those hurt like a
Yes.
But the only other night game I think of when I think about it is Sardines, and we mentioned it. And for us, we always played at the church, and I think the only rules we had were you couldn't go in the building for Sardines, and you couldn't leave the church property, and that's how we like defined the play area. But then it was just, Sardines. One person hides,
Everybody else.
then everyone else tries to find them and hide with them.
So you got to time when you do the hiding, because if anybody else sees you hiding, like what's the point of that?
Right.
Yep.
So you want to identify where they are before you hide with them.
Well, there are other games we played, and I think you'll remember it when I say the name. Assassin.
Crap. Okay, I know the name, but I don't have anything to attach it to.
Names on pieces of paper, into the hat. Everybody draws their mark.
I don't know if I played
Nelson's
We played in their
cul-de-sac.
cul-de-sac a lot, yes.
this.
Okay, and then how does it work?
Your target is the one on the piece of paper you drew.
Right.
And
you
so
don't know
you have
who's
to try to
hunting you.
get them, tag them, without your
Oh,
hunter
yeah.
finding you.
So
Your
like,
assassin.
it's like that Spider-Man meme where it's just like a circle of Spider-Man and they're all pointing at each other like, hey, you did it, you did it.
Mexican standoff.
Yeah. Who is it? Oh, yeah.
That was a fun game.
It was always at the Nelson's cul-de-sac.
Would you then take your victim's slip and move on?
That would have been.
I don't know if that was a rule, but hey, there's another
that.
rule adaptation.
Yeah,
I think
that's
you
the
should
way to do it. And then whoever gets the most
Has the most
Yes.
kills, so to speak,
But
Not
then
to
what
be
happens
violent.
if you run out of targets?
you
You
win.
win.
Like
that
obviously,
means
no.
everyone else is
Because
done.
what if you? Oh, yeah, okay.
And then there was one more thing. There was one more thing that I think might have just been me in my age group of friends. We just called them night ops. They were just variations on a rule. It was kind of like how you can create your own multiplayer game in Halo, like set your own rules, sort of. But usually they revolved around some people were at some kind of a base with flashlights, and the other team just had to be able to infiltrate without getting caught. That was the most basic night ops that we did.
Yeah. It's kind of what my kids do just randomly during the day. They try to sneak upstairs without you saying something to them.
Oh my
And
gosh.
then they're like, we made it.
They do
You
that when we're all moms and
losers.
dads.
Yeah.
They'll throw blankets on
Oh,
themselves
yeah.
and they'll creep up the stairs. And then you say, "How did you see me?"
Yeah.
Blankets are not invisibility
You know,
cloaks.
this is great timing. We need to start teaching these kids how to
Too true.
be effective night game players.
Yeah.
True. So they can pwn all of their friends.
And the other thing I've learned from this, I need to get us some capture the flag things.
Yes, I know.
Mm.
I was just thinking we need to see what products are out there now.
I'm not nearly as inspired out here in Utah because Oregon just had so many great forested areas, and it's hard to find a place quite like that where like you're not trespassing
And it's
know.
comfortable.
and it's comfortable. Yeah, you're not afraid like snakes are gonna get you
So
or something.
I was the only one out of the three of us to go to Kay's Cross at Halloween time.
Yeah,
You want
But-
to play a case cross?
Dude.
that's trespassing though.
But no- so they let you pay to play paintball on their property. at the Hollow.
Oh yeah.
Would be it's like a perfect location for any of these kinds of night games.
Gotta get some
Birthday
biodegradable
parties.
airsoft.
Yeah, see, I want to get those
Dang it.
the Orbeez, the little splatters
Okay.
guns when the kids are old enough.
Okay.
I'm gonna have a hard time, man. I'm gonna have to like somehow be a cool dad, like not
Somehow.
just with my boys, but with their friends too. Because like, heck, I'm gonna want to play capture the flag. Like I'm still running.
I need to make
be
way
the
more money. I want to play all the things.
I know.
Well, there's a start.
My motivation.
Like I'd love to play Commandos with them. I'll never
That
drive.
was easy.
I'll never be the driver because that just
Yeah,
Doesn't
you
feel
did
right.
your time.
Yeah.
The boring job.
You'd have to find a neighborhood quiet like our whole town was.
Yeah.
How
And
much
then
traffic?
determine whether you feel like times are still conducive to that kind of play.
Yeah, there's not.
You never know.
grumpy
I don't
people.
know.
kids still do stupid stuff.
Sure they do. Sure. But a lot of adults are crazy people nowadays.
But you, and the traffic down 14th Street when we're playing Commando, you'd get like 2 cars that weren't your spotter, maybe. So ideal.
It was.
Anyway, cool. And all you listeners, be looking out for the Another Brother podcast sponsored flashlights.
Once we come up with the name for
Don't
that.
worry, the angle of that will be perfect.
The angle of it?
The
Oh, yeah. Right. The spread of the
light,
We'll
yeah.
optimize it for the game for
Yep.
sure.
Yeah,
Yep.
and we guarantee. Never mind. I don't remember. I don't remember what the speed of light is, so I don't want to say the speed of light.
Hey, kids. Do you know what time it is?
Story time!
cool. I haven't really prepared super well for this.
Yay!
Because we were so prepared for that last segment.
Yeah.
Our life prepared us for that.
Dude, my whole life is a gym.
Break the wrist, walk away.
Okay. Surprise, surprise. My story time is going back to high school running. Sorry.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Russia.
We have 2 cliche story
Yes. Am I a memeable character yet? Yeah, Russia.
Not yet. Just wait till we get those socials up.
This time it's cross country, not track, though.
Okay.
Yes, sometimes sprinters do cross country. So this was my senior year. This was the first time we traveled for a meet. Let me try that again. This was the first time we traveled for a meet where we needed to stay in a hotel overnight. It was way down in Ashland, Oregon, which is like about as south as you can get.
They got good cows down there. For a meet.
You had to travel for meat.
For the beef.
Oh my
'Cause
gosh.
it's the type of meat.
Got it. Gotcha. It's a pretty big invitational. Yeah, lots of competition, lots of schools come in for it for some reason.
Was it an actual invitational? Like by invite only?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I mean, the way it works typically, like a coach just requests,
Oh.
and then
Asking for an invite? Ugh, so tacky.
But you can say it's by invitation only.
yeah. So this isn't. Never mind. I'm not going to go there.
Okay, go on.
So yeah, we stayed in a hotel. We went out for dinner. I can't remember where we went, but we got like pasta because that's like the cross country distance runner
Classic.
cliche. Yeah, carbo loading.
Mm.
No, I think the science doesn't actually support that, but that's okay. That's what we did.
It's like 2 to 3 days beforehand you should start your
There
carbo
we
load. Not just
Not the night before.
Yeah.
Well, then you're just keeping your carbo load going because you've already started.
For the rage
No.
for the rager after the meet.
Oh no. Cue Michael Scott running his 5K. Okay, and then so after dinner we went back to the hotel. This was just a single night thing. This wasn't like
Like a weekend trip.
yeah,
But
this
you had a
wasn't
hotel
like
room. Wait.
the state state championship for track where you're like 2 nights, 3 days. We didn't have like entertainment or anything like that. We left after the school day, so we got down there pretty late. So pretty much after dinner, we just went back to our individual rooms, hung out in our rooms for a little bit, and then we were supposed to go to bed.
Night games.
I do not recall how late we stayed up. So it was me, 2 of my best friends, Travis and Adam, in our room.
Okay.
Retrospect, coaches probably should have divided rooms up more strategically than they did.
Mm.
It was probably a good learning lesson for them. Because it was just an invitational again. It wasn't like a state championship.
So you don't need to be as serious. You can keep off.
You didn't ask to go, the coach did.
I mean, we definitely stayed up past midnight. It was probably like 1, 2 a.m.
Oof.
by the time we went to bed. Oh man, I can't remember the exact time anymore, but probably around 3, 4 a.m.
Oh dear.
we get a call on our, not a cell phone, in our room phone.
Yeah, of course.
And so
You didn't have a cell phone at that point in time, did you?
I didn't.
Yeah. Other kids.
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
did.
yeah. The other guys did. And it just rings and rings and rings. Travis and Adam just stay in bed. They're not getting out to answer it. So I'm like, I'll get it. Because, obviously the first thing that comes to my mind is like, something happened and the coaches need to tell us something. Coaches shouldn't be entering into athletes' hotel rooms, obviously. Forget about the purple jacket story from last season.
Tisk.
Anyway, so I just assumed it was a coach calling at 4 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Get to the phone, answer it. No one's there.
Turns out I let it ring for too long.
Is this actually a paranormal activity?
No.
No, wait. Paranormal hour? That's the name.
I get back in bed. Like a minute or two later, it rings again. Get up, go back, answer it angrily, and again, no one's there.
Oh, you're getting crank called.
Get back in bed. A couple minutes later, there's a knock at the door. So I'm like, dang it. It was the coaches, and I just didn't get out of bed soon enough. But the second time, I popped out of bed pretty quickly because obviously the first time I assumed I was too slow. Again, the other guys stay in bed, so I get out of bed. I go over to the door, and I open it, and immediately, like simultaneously, 2 or 3 hands shove their way into the door jamb before I even have the door open all the way. And again, simultaneously, 3 very high-pitched girl screams just are blaring. Those hands in the door have silly spray.
Yeah.
And they just blast me. Like, hands in and just all 3 cans in my face. They then...
Wait, which coach was this?
Oh, it's not a coach.
Oh, I thought you said it was the coaches at the door.
I thought it was the coaches because that's the only thing that would be logical.
Oh, I thought you looked and there was a coach and then
sorry. Yeah, no, I didn't.
Left.
I didn't look through the people.
You noob.
I'm on like 2 hours of sleep.
That's exactly when you want to be looking through the people.
I obviously slammed the door shut. They get their hands out. They don't get slammed on. And then they run back to their room screaming because girls, man.
Gonna get kicked out of that hotel.
The first thing I hear back from the room is Travis. He's like, dude, that sounded like a grip load of silly string.
Grip load.
And it's like my shoulder's covered, half my face is covered. It's all over the room, a little bit into like the hallway. So we get it all cleaned up. This was Anderson. Anderson was head coach at the time. And Scott was his assistant coach. Hermangan might have come with us too.
Yeah, I think by that time
he came and helped
helping
drive one of the buses.
Yeah.
Anyway, Anderson comes out to see what the heck went on. Because he drilled in us before coming. Again, this is the first time cross country had taken an overnight trip.
We never went anywhere.
Yeah. So he drilled in us no boys in girls' rooms and no girls in boys' rooms.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what do the girls do? 4 a.m. They silly string us.
They didn't go in
Through the doorway.
So he comes out. He kept his composure really well at that moment.
Well, yeah, it wasn't your fault.
Yeah. So get it all cleaned up. He goes back to his room. I get back in bed. I didn't get back in bed. I went back, and the 3 of us were like, well, we're already awake. We might as well do our thing now.
Because you had already planned something?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Not for the girls, though, because we weren't stupid enough to break those rules. We had planned something. The day before, we went to the grocery store. I think we went to Safeway. Doesn't matter. We went to Safeway. It was Safeway. We went to Safeway. And we bought saran wrap. That night before going to bed, we were in the other guy's room, right? So varsity team has 7 runners. 7? 5 score and 2 are... Yeah. 7 runners.
I was in cross country for the workouts. I was never competitive. I have no idea.
Varsity has 7 runners. So we had 7 girls, 7 boys there. So obviously we had 2 rooms for each. That night, before all of the shenanigans happened, before we went to bed, we went to the other guy's room and, we're chatting, talking with them, having a good time. And I sneaked over to their entertainment center where the TV and stuff was, because that's where one of them just left their key card laying out. And I propped my arm up on it, getting relaxed, and slid my hand over and took a key card from them. So we go into their room with the key card, got saran wrap in hand, ready to saran wrap one guy specifically to the bed. We had an exact and specific plan.
Okay. You were able to get in and it didn't wake them up?
So we get inside.
Yeah.
These things. Look through your people, and use all the locks on your doors. Okay.
That's true.
That's my 2 pieces.
Yeah, they didn't latch.
They didn't. That's a good point.
Dummies.
They did not. We're at the foot of the bed. And what was his first name? We're just going to call him Martinez. He jolts up out of bed. Complete right angle, sitting upright, straight, he was just laying in bed awake. He's like, what are you guys doing?
He spoke.
Yeah.
Did it wake the others?
Eventually. So Adam jumps on him because Adam's determined that we're going to saran wrap him. And I think Travis probably joined him. Well, I'm like slowly backing up to the wall behind me, but they're wrestling Martin. Oh crap, his name is Martin. They're wrestling Martin on the bed, trying to saran wrap him. Like I think at that point they probably abandoned trying to do it to the mattress and just were trying to wrap around him. Meanwhile, oh my God. I'm going to give his last name, not his first name, because we don't do full names. And his last name will be indicative enough for you two. One of the Strasser boys was sleeping on the ground. Instead of sleeping in the bed with Martin, he was sleeping on the ground.
Of course. Like a real Strasser.
So by that point, Strasser woke up. He's like, what's going on? And he jolts over, and he ends up tackling Martin. And Travis and Adam sneak out of there. Like, so he's wrestling Martin now.
Perfect.
Like, completely half asleep, not knowing what the heck is going on. And then we just slip out and book it back to our room.
Nice.
I don't know at what point the coaches found out about what we did. I don't even think it was that next day. I think it took them a little longer to find out that we had then gone on to do shenanigans. But man, were they angry. The drive home from Ashland back to Kaiser, they made all three of the girls, like, he split them up all in different places throughout the bus. So they couldn't sit next to each other, even in vicinity, so they could talk to each other. It was so funny. We got back to McNary, and we're sitting in the parking lot. All of our parents are there to pick us up, and yeah, he lectured us for a good, probably 10 minutes on the bus.
But what was the lecture?
I think in his mind, first of all, the girls did break his biggest rule.
Debatable, but okay.
And then we did something stupid too. We impacted the other athletes on our team unfairly, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Because it was like a 6 a.m. wake up time, I think, to get breakfast and to the course on time. He had put a lot of trust in us to take this seriously, and leaving our rooms that early in the AM.
But mostly that you had affected
the other
someone
athletes.
Else. Yeah.
Yes. Looking back at it, I do kind of wish, we had gone to sleep at an appropriate time and we hadn't gone out of bed, because all of our times were around minute and a half to 2 minutes slower than what our average time would be. Now, that course specifically was an especially difficult course. So I think that did carry true for most athletes who competed just across the board. I think everyone was slower on this course, but it would have been really nice to have seen what would I have actually ran if I had gotten 8 hours of sleep.
I'm sure that's what the rest of the athletes were thinking too. Wonder how well I actually would have done if these guys hadn't hogtied me. And I was hoping so bad that what you were going to say was Strasser jumps up like right next to Martin, and then you guys are able to continue both of them together. That's right. What I was hoping for.
Yeah, no, we definitely cut our losses and got out of there.
I think him tackling the wrong guy.
That's pretty good.
It was hilarious. But yeah, the way, like, Mom has heard about this story, I think second or third hand. Not for me. I think it was through Borison. And the way Borison tells Mom about it, sounds like the way the story was delivered to Borison was like unbelievable that any of us would even think about doing any of this kind of stuff. So I feel like there might be a chance that it was slightly inflated even in Scott's and Anderson's minds of what actually happened. Like, they might have thought the girls came all the way into our room. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think Mom has made the comment after I've explained to her what actually happened. I think she's made the comment that, like, oh, well, of course I knew that's what happened. She probably wouldn't be that upset and disappointed at you guys.
Yeah.
Jeez.
There's probably still disappointment to be had. I get it. We received a couple other lectures after that day.
Good grief. Let children be children. Except for impacting other athletes.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
Nope.
But no.
It was a blast, though. Pretty funny.
We end on laughter.
Too fake.
I was trying to think of a somehow to type blast into it because you said it was a blast.
A blast of silly string.
There we go.
It really was. They sprayed me with so much.
Man, that sounds like a real grip load of silly string.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dang it, that's what I was going to do.
Oh, shoot. Do it. You're going to do it better.
Thank you
For being our brother.
Wow, did
That
we
might be
just
too
nail that?
energetic, though.
Okay. we'll take another run at it then.
Okay. For being our brother.
The first one was too energetic.
Gotcha. Production of this podcast is done by Alex Stewart.
With music by Jared Poff and Alex Stewart.
For show notes, rockin' merch, and other brother goodness, check out our website at anotherbrotherpodcast.com.
Be sure to come back next week.
And tell your friends so they too can become a
Brother,